What's going on, guys? Carmine here, and with Season 7 less than 10 days away, we've already received the first 3 episode titles and synopsis from Entertainment Weekly. Now, normally we do get at least 4 or 5 of these before the season does come out, with the final episode title and synopsis days before the finale, but with only 7 episodes left this time around, we'll only be getting 3, and the titles and synopsis should be interesting, right? Let's get into it. Also, before we begin, semi-spoiler warning here. Technically, this does not contain spoilers, but I do understand that some people enjoy going into the whole thing completely in the dark, so if you're one of those people, then back out now. You've been warned. But let's get to it. The first episode is called Dragonstone, and the synopsis reads, Jon organizes the defense of the North, Cersei tries to even the odds, and Daenerys comes home. Now, obviously, the episode is named after the island that Stannis was originally located on, and without him there, then I doubt there would be too much of a fight. In the books, there are people stationed at Dragonstone when Stannis leaves, but only a skeleton crew, and I doubt we'll see Dany having any difficulties taking it. We also have Cersei trying to even the odds, and that could mean a number of things, but because we only have 7 episodes, it's likely that she is sending the Lannister army to take out the Tyrell forces. Strategy-wise, it'd be the best bet for the Lannister army to take out the Tyrells first, considering they're right next to King's Landing and can pose a big problem later on with their large army and fleet. The Martells won't be too much of an issue, even though they stayed out of the war for the most part. They should have a fresh number of troops, but they also have the smallest amount of forces and normally excel on their home turf. The Stark and Vale forces won't be able to come down to attack Cersei for a while due to the phrase holding the neck, so taking the Tyrells out right off the bat would be the best course of action. As for Jon organizing the defense of the North, this one is interesting because it shows that he is more worried about the North's current weaknesses, which is their lack of men and resources. The time spent getting rid of both Ironborn and Bolton forces put a huge toll on the North's abilities to get things done effectively. Jon is being smart here. He knows that the Crown still considers the North a threat, and he can't afford to march down south just yet with winter and the White Walkers coming down. I would like this episode to be a strategic one for them as well, drawing out battle plans for White Walker invasion, and even setting up traps for when the fight eventually does come to Winterfell. However, if the Battle of Hardhome is any indication, I expect the Whites to pull something right out of World War Z. Now, the second episode reads, Daenerys receives an unexpected visitor, Jon faces a revolt, Tyrion plans the conquest of Westeros. The title is called Stormborn, which refers to Dany being born during a storm on Dragonstone. Now, this one can be a very fun episode if they do it correctly. The visitor could be anybody, but it's likely Melisandre or Jon Snow. We know these two will be meeting up with each other this season, but the question is when. We also know that Melisandre, based on the trailers, will be at Dragonstone, so it'd be interesting to see her and Dany team up or have a conversation. I will be honest though, I can't see Melisandre having too much to do with Dany, other than nerd out over her dragons. Dany has had bad experiences with people who use magic, so we'll have to see what happens. As for Jon facing his own little revolt, I'm thinking this is either from Bolton's Karstark Umber forces or the Wildlings and Northmen not getting along. Some people have pointed to Littlefinger's meddling because in the trailers we do see Jon choking his ass out, so it's entirely possible. The one thing I am curious about is what the Vale forces are doing at Winterfell. Just camping out? Jon should be trying to please them in any way he can, considering the Vale forces outnumber them 10-1. It'd be interesting if the revolt is coming from them, but it's likely the last remnants of the traitor houses who sided with the Boltons. Now, the fun part of this episode is here with Tyrion planning the conquest of Westeros. Because he is book savvy and someone who was rich enough to travel almost anywhere, then he should know every single nook and cranny of Westeros. The reason I think this is fun is because there are more houses against Dany than for her, and I want to see Tyrion going through a catalog of families and their castles and discussing their strengths and weaknesses. I find stuff like this very interesting, having him and other members of Dany's war council discuss strategy, castle defenses, and plans of attack on different locations, because many of these places are very much different from one another, and even the armies fight differently. I think back to Season 2 when Catelyn calls the Tyrell soldiers the Knights of Summer, and back when Season 5 when Littlefinger tells Cersei the Knights of the Vale are used to fighting in cold temperatures. It'd be interesting to get something like that, and I hope we do. And last for episode 3, it reads, Daenerys holds court, Cersei returns a gift, Jaime learns from his mistakes. The title is The Queen's Justice. So right off the bat, the title implies that someone, likely Jaime or the Mountain, is serving the Queen's Justice, and this could imply Cersei getting back at someone, preferably one of her major nemesis. This could include either Sansa, Tyrion, Olenna Tyrell, or the Sand Snakes. Even though Dany and Jon are against her, I don't consider them one of her major nemesis because those two have never met Cersei. While they may be huge obstacles for her to deal with, I feel like Cersei really hates the ones I mentioned the most and would rather have justice served to them. And it's also in line with the returning gift, which strongly implies that she's going after Ilaria for that Viper contraption from Season 5. Now, as for Dany holding court, this could be with the visitor we got last episode, but I would like it if she held some kind of meeting between houses from Westeros who want to ally themselves with her. That would be more interesting for me, but we've seen characters hold court before when the townsfolk come to them to ask for protection or supplies. As for Jaime learning from his mistakes, this one is a bit tricky for me to decipher, so I'm going to leave it to you guys to answer because a lot of you always have some interesting things to say. So let me know what mistakes Jaime could be learning from. Also, do you like the episode titles? With only 13 episodes remaining for Thrones in general, are these good enough or do we need better and more interesting ones? Personally, I think they're okay, but the ones I really pay attention to the most are the last 2 episode titles and synopsis, and I can't wait for those to come out. But as always, leave your thoughts below, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and consider supporting us on Patreon, following on Twitter, and liking us on Facebook. Links for all these in the description below. See you guys next time. Baba Booey.